Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome! Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah!
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal, and each and every Tuesday, I come to you with an offering, a gift. May it be your pre-show, may it be your post-show, but I'm here, my friends, to talk to you about the National Wrestling Alliance. Have you found your wrestling provider? Have you made amends with who your wrestling deities will be? Because here at the Alliance, we're here to help you, man. I'm here to help you. That hashtag NWA fam. I'm here to help you, the fans of the NWA. Yes, the pre-party with J-Cal is your home for all things NWA. And today is no different as we march to the 76th anniversary show through the territories. And it's kind of a bit of a time warp, right? I feel like we're traveling back in time. These events were taped back in June. For dexterity purposes, is that the right word? For context, these were filmed back in June. And we're kind of starting to see some pieces fall together for the 76th anniversary show. I.e. tonight, I mean, the lineup, we have some great matches, and we'll get to those momentarily. But, you know, when the partnership between Ella Envy and Samantha Starr was first announced, a lot of us were left a little kerfuffled. I think that's the word that our friend Gary Horn uses from time to time. We were kind of confused as to why they were getting a shot at the tag titles, but lo and behold, we see them now challenging Kenzie and Kylie Page, the Page sisters, at the Return of the Territories. So again, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. It's a weird dichotomy that the NWA must travel. It is a weird road, and I can't tell you what's the best way to do it because I don't know what limitations they are under. I don't know what type of routine that they have to have. But, when we walked into the 76th anniversary show wearing our Alliance Blog 76th anniversary shirts, the Alliance Wrestling Summit, we were very much confused as to why Samantha Starr, Miss Starr, if you will, and Ella Envy were now considered the it girls. There was no explanation for that, but it was now revealed to us through the Return to the Territory show. But I guess what I'm saying is the problem is that this is always going to be an issue for the NWA under its current taping format. And I think you're doing a big disservice, NWA, to your fans who are paying their money to be at your live events. Tickets to the 76th anniversary show were not cheap. Tickets were, I think I paid about $60 a ticket for my ringside seat. Somewhere about there. After fees and everything, it was about $60, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It cost me quite a bit more to fly to Philadelphia and rent a car and to get a hotel room. And I'm not saying that every single attendee at the 76th anniversary show was a fly-in, but what I'm saying is that I put my hard money, my well-earned, hard-earned money to be at that show, and I feel like as a consumer of the product, I should be given priority over the person who's watching the show on television. And that's not to say, television, that's, relative. The CW app or the website. I don't feel like that's out of the realm of a hard request. And when I walk into this event, because the television taping schedule is the way that it is, and they shoot for about a month before the show is released, I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense. And you have to appease one of your fan bases, either the fan base that watches you online or the fan base that pays their money to watch you live. And right now, there's not even a good middle ground. So, things are changing for the NWA as well. We're seeing more and more events being scheduled. I mean, look, we have 2 events back to back in New York. We have the 3 days at the Riot Fest. We have the Samhain taping that's coming up. They're doing more tapings in Tampa. The NWA is constantly creating content, and that's a great thing. We all want to consume this content. I want to see the matches at the Riot Fest. I want to see how it's going to come out, blending the rock and wrestling, of yesteryear. But to what extent, man, we're missing out on so much stuff because we're seeing stuff that's months old and leading us to a live event that doesn't line up with the current product as it is. So, again, I'll get off my soapbox here in a minute, but Billy Corgan, Pat Kelly, Joe Galley, Kyle Davis, anyone listening, what are we doing? What's the plan? What's the goal? Because if the NWA is strictly going to be a television show, if it's only going to be about the TV, then why am I spending my money to go to the live event? What's the benefit for me as a consumer? Where is that a priority for me? I made you a priority. I flew all the way out to Philadelphia. I spent quite a bit of money to get there. I spent a lot of money on my tickets. When do I become the priority? What's up, everybody? Let's go to the chat. I want to say what's up to my friends here. Of course, Rosville It's the first person to leave a comment today. The unofficial NWA Internet Champion is in his house. If you see that photo of Roswell right there, he is holding a title belt that he created, acknowledging the NWA and its internet presence as a trophy that he holds. I heard recently through the This is the NWA podcast that there are more regional titles coming. So, yeah. Maybe the internet title's next. Willie Bowen with the Tyrus joke of the day. Willie Bowen isn't a big fan of the man they call Tyrus, your former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. And now that Tyrus is nothing more than a bad memory for those of us who are fans of the NWA, I will acknowledge that Willie Bowen thinks that Tyrus will be playing Moby Dick in a biopic. I messed that one up. Sorry, Willie. Needless to say, Willie Bowen is saying that Tyrus is fat. He's fat. He's fat. Chris Drummond says he's number 40. He's number 40. Number 40 was the number given to one Ethan Carter III, for the time period, NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, as voted by the Pro Wrestling Illustrated staff. Now, I haven't seen the entire list yet. I've been busy today. I wasn't out there scooping out the info for you guys. I apologize for that. I wasn't checking out the PW Insider top 500 or 400. PWI 400? Yeah. Or 500, whatever it is. I did not go and look up all the names. I did have a few sent to me. I saw like Danny Limelight was ranked pretty favorably. Let's see. What else do I have besides Danny Limelight? Let me see here. We have a friend of the show, Danny Limelight, 286. Not a bad number. He's up from last year where he was ranked 306. They acknowledge that he has won the Reality of Wrestling Texas title and, of course, the Future Stars Wrestling Championship as well. Tom Latimer, ranked 211, down from where he was last year, 187. Tom Latimer, of course, being the NWA national champion during this period and had made his debut at the World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico, and also participating in the Shad Gaspard Memorial Cup. Former challenger to the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, Richard Holiday, was ranked 215, which is a lot better than last year's 276. They talked about his victory at the GCW, beating out Alexander Hammerstone, won the New South Heart of the Southern 16 tournament. He's done pretty good for himself. Those aren't bad numbers. Former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion really surprised a lot of people when he came in at number 166, just ahead of Charlie Dempsey from the NXT brand. Last year he was not listed. Trainee of Mustafa Ali and Robert Anthony and Ricky Marvin, reigned as the AAW Heritage Champion and is the former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, and spent most of his reign as champion this past year. But let's get to EC3, of course, ranked number 40. Last year he was ranked number 22. Last year he was ranked number 209. So that's a significant improvement for the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Again, he became champion last year at the at the 75th anniversary show, and held that title for one solid year. Also becoming the Ohio Valley National Champion in November by defeating Jesse Gooders. A lot of people might complain about being number 40. We're saying that might not be a high enough number for the World's Heavyweight Champion, former World's Heavyweight Champion. I don't think that is as bad as a lot of people think it is, because the NWA we are a niche audience. We are a niche group. We love the NWA. We support it. We talk about it. But you have to remember that there is audiences 10 times, 100 times the size of the NWA that exist currently in the world of professional sport. You look at the WWE, you look at AEW, even TNA wrestling, all have a much larger, more vocal fan base than the NWA. And let's not forget that the PWI, top 500 or whatever it is, 499, however many entrants are in that list, keep in mind that they write a list to sell magazines. They're trying to come up with controversial places and things and people so that we talk about it, so that you go out and buy that magazine. Never mistake that this is a publicity stunt that's done annually to try to piss you off. It's set up, it's rigged to make you mad. They want you to buy the magazine and argue about it with your friends, online, and anywhere else that people will listen to you. So don't get hung up on the number, especially for a guy like EC3. Being number 40, yes, there are a lot of there's a big gap between number 1 and 40, obviously 39 other people, but at the same time, think about the 39 other people that are ranked before EC3 and the amount of publicity they get, the amount of days of the week that they work, what their schedule looks like, who they're in the ring with. And, honestly, I think number 40 for the world's heavyweight champion, it's not my favorite. I'd love to see that number lower, but let's be honest, again, they're trying to sell magazines. All right, getting to more of your comments, and I'm sure there'll be more about that too. Willie Bowen says, when the NWA Mid-America is crowned, will he ever wrestle the NWA World Heavyweight Champion? Willie, that's on a case-by-case scenario. I mean, as far as I could tell, I haven't watched Power yet, but the news is out there. We know that there's a new champion. I don't think that the title is meant to be a quick path to the NWA World's Heavyweight title, where the television title has the Lucky 7 series. Once you go 7, you get the shot at the 10 pounds of gold. The national championship is kind of considered the honorary number 1 contender to the 10 pounds of gold. Just by being the national champion, you're the next guy in line. I don't think that the Mid-American Championship is going to be used in that way. I think that the plan is to kind of create a prize, a trophy, a championship that unites the territories under the NWA banner. Now, silly me, I thought that they could do that with the national title belt. Evidently, that's not possible. It's not the end of the world to have another championship belt, and we've already heard that the NWA is planning to have more of this territorial titles. It's gone so completely the opposite of where the NWA was in 2018 when it started doing its own live events. But no, I don't think we'll see a Mid-American versus World Heavyweight Champion title for title match. Konnichiwa to my guy, the great Hisa. Double D, Devin Dowling's in the house. Hey, whoa! Hope everyone's day has been badass so far. My day's been good, man. I hit the gym, got some bigger reps, some bigger numbers. I was feeling pretty good about myself. I'm totally gassed now. Thank God for Debbie, or else your boy Jay would be dragging. But I'm here, and I'm doing all right. Noob says, hello, Alliance crew. How are you doing today? I can't speak for everyone, but I'm doing well. Got a trip to Costco in, had a piece of pepperoni pizza. No better way to show off your gains than destroying them with a big-ass slice of Costco pizza. Willie says, when the NWA Mid-American Heavyweight Champion is crowned, we already did that one. Happy to see Jeremiah Plunkett back on NWA Power. Well, what's really interesting, and we'll get to that momentarily, is that on the surface, I didn't realize, but each territory is recognized in that Mid-American Championship. You have a representative from NWA Chicago. You have a representative from Cazana Promotions. You have a representative from Kross Fire and a representative Exodus Pro. So it's kind of nice that they did that 4-way by recognizing each of the other territories, really kind of, again, lending itself to that territory topic, that territory term, and being completely honest with it. I think it's great. And we'll talk more about that momentarily. The NWA needs to start making their taping schedule sense. Yeah, the schedule sucks. It just doesn't, it's not indicative of what I would say is successful wrestling. And it's bonkers to me because I know that the CW is kind of pushed for the NWA to send in the content way in advance. But let's keep in mind that when NXT debuts on the CW app in a couple of weeks, they're going to put their program live on the CW channel, and then the replay will be on the app probably within 24 hours. If they can have that much or little time to convert a taped show and put it online, why does the NWA have to have theirs so far in advance? And, and furthermore, if you go to the CW app right now and you type in sports, you'll see advertising for NXT. You'll see stuff about college football, college basketball. You know what you don't see? The NWA. And I'm just gonna double check this because I saw this the other day and I thought that's wild. But if you go to the CW Sports on the CW app, you see the NASCAR Xfinity Series, you see WWE NXT, you see Pac-12 football, you see ACC football, you see Inside the NFL, LIV Golf League. You don't see the NWA. Not under the inspirational sports stories, not under the documentaries unscripted, not even under more sports on the CW. And I think that can be problematic. You are supposed to be getting premium pushes on this application on the CW, and it's not happening. At least you're not, they don't consider you at the same level as NXT, which, I mean, that's not even that isn't that insulting, right? But like, at least put them up on the same screen. Are you embarrassed, CW, by the NWA? Is that what's going on here? Bobby Battito's in the house. I already said that. Robert Dinkins says, J-Cal, did you like All Out? I didn't see All Out, Bobby. Robert, excuse me. I don't want to call you Bobby with that. We're not that informal yet. Look, I am happy that Danielson retained the title. I want Danielson to, have a good run as AEW World Champion. He's one of my favorites, and he always will be one of my favorites. I don't love the idea of them putting a bag over his head, but it kind of made me laugh because it reminded me of when he initially got fired by the WWE for choking out the ring announcer Justin Roberts, who now works for AEW, with his tie. If you guys remember that, and it was deemed too violent and too much for the network, so they fired Danielson and then subsequently rehired him like a month later, maybe 2. Sean Mega's in the house. What's up, Sean? Jam and Music Man, both are in the house. What's going on, guys? Jeremy's here. Good afternoon, Alliance fam. Don't forget that like, share, and after the stream, leave a comment. It all helps the algorithm. And it really does. The channel continues to grow. You guys are helping us kill it. There will be a championship title belt created at some point to recognize the growth of this channel from the support of viewers like you. But to be perfectly honest, initially I was going to put 5K on there to celebrate, like that was a momentous occasion, but we keep growing. You guys are helping us grow so much with the likes, the comments, the shares, the subscribes. It's really helping the channel grow. The other cool thing that I found out recently is that you can clip parts of the show and share them on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever's. And I think that's also pretty cool too. If you guys want to do that, that will also help the channel grow. So yeah. And Double D, I appreciate you, brother. I do, man. I really do. And I don't know if you made it formal yet, but I'm very happy for you and your family. That's dope, Double D. Thank you, sir. That's Brodus Clay. Actually, it's the Funkasaurus. Can you read that? Funkasaurus. Moxley is now the top heel in the business. Top heel in the business? Is he still a bigger heel than The Rock when The Rock comes back at whatever the next event is? I don't think so. Tyrus is ginormous. Former NWA champion Cody Rhodes is number one. And there you go. I mean, I don't know anybody on the face of this planet right now that would say, I'll pass on Cody. Oh, wait, AEW did that. Besides that, though, I think if Tony Khan could have a do-over, I think he would have tried to keep Cody happy in AEW. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Who remembers when Dean Malenko was ranked number one in the PWI 500? Man, was he ranked number one? Dean Malenko is a fantastic wrestler, and he's a guy that, during that tumultuous period for the NWA with ECW and all of that was going on, there was a large contingency that did not want the title put on Shane Douglas. There were a lot of people in the NWA, and by a lot of people, I'm saying really just like the home office, that wanted to put the belt on Chris Benoit. And I know that later in life, and of course the awful, awful thing that he did to his family, he should not be celebrated as a hero or an icon or anything else. But I always wondered, what would have happened had Benoit become NWA World's Heavyweight Champion instead of Shane Douglas? Obviously, that would have changed the trajectory of ECW. I don't know that it would have prevented ECW. I think we still would have had the Extreme Championship Wrestling, but the NWA would have had a legitimate, real shooter-style wrestler with Chris Benoit, and maybe that title would have spent more time in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring, and who knows, maybe his style of wrestling would have changed significantly, and he wouldn't have had all these post-concussion syndrome and the damaging of the brain that led to those horrible, horrible things. These are things that sometimes keep me up at night. I don't know the answer to that, but it's always one of those what-ifs, for me anyways. Chris Drummond says, my world champion Naito is number 5. Chris, do you think that number 5 is fitting for Naito? Do you think that's low or do you think that's high? Because I can think about 5 more wrestlers right now that I feel are better than Naito. But, that's me. How do you all feel about MLW Contra's unit invading the NWA? I think that would be interesting. I think anytime you could do some cross-promoting. We've seen some positive results for the WWE and the TNA as they are doing cross-branding with Impact TNA wrestlers appearing in NXT and vice versa. We saw that a few years ago during the pandemic when we saw TNA and its relationship with AEW at the time where, Kenny Omega was coming in with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. There was this weird dichotomy then that, I can't say for certain if it benefited TNA wrestling, but, recently saw an interview with Scott D'Amore and he put it over as it did good business for them. Looking at things now, look, you've got NXT putting some of its talents on Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. Our boy Danny Limelight is going to be facing an NXT superstar in the next Reality Wrestling event. I think anytime co-promotion could be beneficial to both parties, that it should be done. I feel like exclusivity is no longer a thing. You're seeing talents from New Japan, if they sign with AEW, they're still appearing in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We saw earlier this year, Jon Moxley was the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion. You saw Eddie Kingston was the New Japan Strong champion, while both being signed to AEW contracts. So I don't know. I would have zero problem with the MLW sending a faction Contras unit. Maybe not the Sheik. But then again, it's Billy Corgan's NWA, and he previously had a relationship with the Sheik. So why the F not? Go for it, Billy. Do it. The NWA needs to figure out a way to get the TV schedule tapings up to date. It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's definitely doable. Even for Dave Marquez, they would shoot TV when they were actively running the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Championship Wrestling, all that good stuff. While they were actively running, they were filming 4 weeks of television, and the first episode would appear like a week or two after they filmed it. So not a full month. It can be done. The WWE does it. AEW does it. TNA Wrestling does it. New Japan Pro Wrestling does it. I mean, it could be done. It's just the CW app and the NWA need to figure out something that's a little bit more conducive to the audience, because the audience just isn't the people who are watching on the CW app. It's the people who are paying to watch the product in those particular territories, in those particular cities. And if the CW app is making so much money for the NWA that they don't need to worry about the live audience, then maybe they should just give those tickets away for free instead of charging $60 for ringside seats. Because if there's no benefit for being there live, if I'm not understanding what I'm seeing, does that make sense? I don't know. I just feel like they should care more. It was nice to see Colby Corino having a match against EC3 last week on NWA Power for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, it was nice to see Colby back in the NWA. He had been on hiatus. We hadn't seen him. He wasn't at Crockett Cup, and he wasn't at the tapings before Crockett Cup. So it'd been a minute since we even saw him on television. Devin Dowling says the NWA should bring Mark Henry in as a commentator for a pay-per-view. He's been around forever. He knows the business and could draw some people in. Plus, he's got a good voice, i.e. Busted Open. I mean, Double D, I hear you, right? But, they also have used and have access to Bubba Ray Dudley. They didn't even bring him in for the ECW arena show. And I know it's the 2300. And I know the NWA is not ECW, but that relationship that they had with Bubba Ray Dudley, they didn't even explore on when they were in basically the arena that he helped build. So I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's see. Where's the MLW champion Tank? Are you talking about Calvin Tankman? Because I don't think he's even in MLW at this point. Oh, rank. I don't know. I don't have the entire list in front of me. ATF Media, who I don't think I've seen on here before, but I love the question. I heard the only person Mike Tyson feared was the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. Can anyone confirm? I'm going to say that Mike Tyson was the baddest dude on the planet. He didn't fear nada, nothing, zip, zero, zilch. But the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin, daddy. Hey, the old Garvin stomp. We saw EC3 do some of that Garvin stomp last week against Colby Corino. That's a pretty funny question, though. Let's see. Hope Jim's okay. Is that a pun on me going to the gym? Yeah, I mean, I worked my ass off today. Let's see. The NWA needs to add 3 more territories ASAP, in my opinion. David, I think they're going to add at least 2 more before the end of the year. At least 1 more. It's pretty much a done deal. We're going to talk a little bit about that on Thursday. If you want to join us, we'll be breaking down some barriers, talking about the territories and where it could be headed next. Robert Dinkins says Shane McMahon rumored for Dynamite tomorrow night. I mean, that's a big get, I also heard that AEW's talking to Fox. Could you imagine a world where AEW's on Warner Brothers Discovery and on Fox, while the WWE's on Netflix and the CW app and the CW and on on Peacock and on the USA. I mean, wrestling is in a all-time high right now. I don't know that I can recall a time where wrestling was this big. And some of you are going to say Attitude Era, WCW versus WWE, the NWO versus DX. Yeah, man, I don't think any of that was this big a business for anybody. You literally have Netflix bringing Monday Night Raw, a program that had been on USA for, 40 years. 40 years? Maybe not 40. 30 years? Easily 30 years. And they're taking that program to Netflix. And I'm not saying that's like the end all be all, right? But that's a big deal. You know, Netflix isn't going to just hand out dimes to the WWE. They're getting big bucks for this move. And subsequently, SmackDown is now going to be a USA exclusive. And CW is getting NXT. That means that the vehicle that is the WWE will now have content on 3 separate streaming platforms, right? Because Raw will be on Netflix, SmackDown, the replays will be on Peacock, and NXT, the replays will be on the CW app. 3 separate streaming platforms. Then, you know, Raw's Live will be on Netflix, SmackDown Live will be on USA, and NXT will be on the CW channel. That's also transcends, like, it's on terrestrial television, right? The CW app, you just have to have bunny ears to get that. You don't need a special cable program or package. USA requires you to have a cable package, and then Netflix requires you to have, you know, internet connection in your home. So it is really like a tiered level for each of these programs, and that's just the WWE. That's not talking about AEW, who is about to announce the Warner Brothers deal. That's not, you know, they might have a deal with Fox. They also have, you know, a tiered platform for streaming. The Ring of Honor package is still on its available through ROH stuff. And then, like, you know, there's all these other wrestling promotions out here. You got the NWA, you got MLW, you got United Wrestling Network. There's a lot of other wrestling platforms out there. So it's a wild time, man. It's really cool. Roswell, back to the CW app. Sure, it's under wrestling, but it's not under sports. And I think that it should be under sports. Like, if you type in wrestling, as I'm back now on the CW app, and I type in wrestling, and you know what comes up? You know what comes up first? The documentary series, The Wrestlers. It's a series. And then the next thing is NWA POWERRR Wrestling. And then episodes of The Wrestlers. And then more episodes of Power. It doesn't even list NXT there. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not even there. I don't know. Maybe that means nothing to you. I think it means something to me. I haven't seen this week's episode of NWA Power, but I do want to see the match that Brian Idol is in, because I know that I'm not a fan of his booking as of late. Fair. They should be getting major side-by-side exposure. It's the freaking app. Shake my head. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that I'm kind of behind you guys on the comments, so I'll just kind of keep reading through them. WWE and its affiliates are phony, like Milli Vanilli concert. The all-out main event was gross. Bobby Petito says, I would put Hunter Drake in the NWA Junior Heavyweight division and build him up as a contender for the championship. I don't hate that idea, Bobby, at all. All Out was the darkest night of the weekend because those moments and spots scarred me for life. Noob, I'm sorry, man. That sucks. That's not good. Double D seconds the love for Hunter Drake and the whole Heartbreak Killers. Oh, Double D doing a deep dive in that Kross Fire Wrestling. Willie wants to see Hunter Drake versus Kerry Morton from the Southern Six. Double D, Brogan Finley was signed by WWE. Now Hunter is alone, so he'd be great to bring in. Hunter Drake versus Jack Cartwheel should be a match for NWA Power. C-Dub needs to do a little better on their end, and I'm not asking for much. Just show us the top of the app from time to time. CM Punk leaves AEW and now in the feud of the year. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that too. Malenko is a masterclass. The Bros wrestling excellence. Of course. I love Dean Malenko was a very unique character. No frills, all wrestling, and I think Lance Storm was often kind of cited as being the similar style of wrestler, but Malenko was just the man in the ring. I just watched Benoit versus Bret Hart at WCW Mayhem for the world title the other day. Yeah, I mean, look, Benoit was a workhorse, and I'll admit it, I was a huge fan of Benoit in his time in WCW, and it's tragic what happened to his family afterwards. I don't want to celebrate somebody who was a murderer, and I know there's a lot of people out there who thinks he didn't do it and he was set up, and no, he murdered his family. Bad things happen all the time. It sucks. It makes me sad. I have young children. I know he was mentally disturbed. I know he had some serious trauma to his head. I wish somebody could have reached out to him before the tragedies happened. They didn't. Nobody did. I don't want to get too much sad about that, so I'm going to quit talking about Benoit. Remember when the AEW was doing a partnership with the NWA? That didn't go well. I mean, I don't think it went bad for the NWA. And look, the Women's World Championship being on, I forgot, Serena Deeb was not a bad look for the NWA. She did the job to Camille. I think that was, and look, Camille took that title victory and ran with it for over 800 days. I mean, that's kind of a win if you ask me. And then having those talents a part of Pretty Empowered, again, they weren't it wasn't the driving force behind Pretty Empowered, but I feel like there should have probably been some better reparations between Billy and Tony as it came to that show. It didn't happen. Okay, we move on. Sean Mega says that the NWA should work with AAA to enhance the junior heavyweight division. I will say this, being at the Crash a few weeks ago, maybe it's a few months ago now that I think about it, and seeing some of the junior heavyweights that they have, the cruiserweights, those guys are small even by NWA standards. And my boy Mecha Wolf, great dude, love Mecha Wolf. When he towers over your division, those dudes are small. They're very, very small. That doesn't mean that they can't wrestle. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't be good additions to the NWA. Just know what you're getting into. They all look smaller than me. They're all under 5'7". They're probably closer to 5'4". Jeremy, I don't know. I got to be honest, MLW, as much as I love the people that are involved with it, I mean, God, they put Bad Dude Tito in there and put a belt on him. I just don't have that much time to watch. My agency for MLW is low, and it's not because I don't want to watch it. It's just I don't have time. The NWA Pro Wrestling should get the international community involved. Willie, I agree with you. I mean, beIN Sports, there's a lot of other beIN Sports is one of many other live stream options that they could resort to. I think it's DAZN, Dazn. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That would be another way to go. And if none of these are viable options, then by all means, find another way. And even if it's putting power on delay, sorry, making myself laugh over here. I think that it would still be a good idea for them. It seems like by alienating that fan base, I feel like it's hurting the growth of the brand. We might have had a huge sellout at the ECW arena, but I feel like they could still be doing things internationally that they haven't done yet. The Australian tour was awesome. The World is a Vampire tour in Mexico was awesome. Hell, even stepping into Puerto Rico, which I know is a territory, had a very unique feel to it. But imagine an NWA tour of Northern Canada or an NWA tour of Western Europe or specifically the UK. It's easy if they all speak English, right? These things would be good ideas if you ask me, but no one's asked me, so we'll keep going. Let's see. Steve G says, I'd like to see NWA work with WOW. I mean, there was talk that could have happened at one point. I don't think logistically that's still a possibility, but I agree. I think that would have been a very interesting concept. You could have brought in a lot of talents from WOW to become potential challengers for the NWA Women's Tag Team titles and the Burke. And I mean, even as we look at it now, there's a vacancy for the Women's Television title. Can we have a Women's World Champion and Women's Tag Team Champions that are definitely in need of fresh blood. And it would be a nice way to cycle some talent in and even giving our champions some frequency on WOW. I mean, I think that would be a very interesting concept. It's too bad that the execution never came. Wow. I just hear, what's his name? Not Luke Owens. Owen Wilson. I got there. I didn't need your help. Wow. Sorry. Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. Now it's Jake Paul. Jesus. Devin Dowling trying to start a riot here. You said hit the gym. You got me, Double D. I hope Kenzie Page defends the 10 pounds of gold. Or excuse me, I said 10 pounds of gold. The Women's World Championship. The Burke. That's what we call it. One day at Reality Wrestling like Camille did. I don't know. You have to remember that the NWA is different than it was just a few years ago. And, Reality of Wrestling, whether it's openly spoken about or not, has a connection to the United Wrestling Network. And as we know, the UWN does not have a good working relationship with the NWA at this point, but things could change. And of course, money talks. Money makes everything better. And I can't believe that if, Booker T said, hey, I want to bring Kenzie Page on and I want her to bring the title, that anyone would flinch. Let's go, pro wrestling. There it is. Doing the numbers, Devin Dowling says Netflix subscribers worldwide 277.65. Is that 277.65 million? There you go. Oversaturation doesn't mean booming. I beg to differ, Sean Mega. I beg to differ. I don't think it's oversaturation. I think oversaturation is Matt Cardona. Seeing him in GCW, seeing him in NWA, seeing him repeatedly over and over doing the same thing. AEW is a very different product from the WWE. NWA is a very different product from both of those. And TNA Wrestling is different from all three of them. I don't feel like you're looking at the same product. And yes, they share the name wrestling in the title. Yes, it is featured talents in the ring doing competitions for title belts. But I don't feel like an AEW wrestling show is the same as a WWE wrestling show, is the same as an NWA or Impact or TNA or whatever. They're all different and unique. And if the market will carry 12 hours of live wrestling a week, then so be it. Who cares? It's not your money. It's not my money. And if AEW lands this deal with Fox, I might watch it. I don't have cable, so I don't watch these things. I'll definitely be watching Netflix when WWE comes to it. Hell, I could be watching the episodes on Peacock now. I just don't. But Netflix is easy. I have Netflix. I watch Netflix all the time. Just watched Young Sheldon last night. Please, TK, no more WWE trash. Jeremy gets Netflix for free with his cell plan. Fox has an antenna TV, so WWE already had a weekly show on antenna TV. James, yeah, I understand that. That's not what I wasn't trying to say that they don't. I'm just saying, like, this is a weird time and space for them that they now continue to have a program that is available over the air antenna. They have a program that's available via cable and a program via streaming internet. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't understand why that isn't a more of a bigger deal. Like, well, Billy, come on, man, stick up for your brand. You signed a deal with this exclusivity with the CW that you can't even put your shows on YouTube when WoW was in the same position. WoW had their shows on YouTube, CW, and airing throughout the US. And you're telling me that you can't even put your show internationally because it might upset CW? Like, what kind of deal did you sign? It's terrifying. WB doesn't even want all of AEW shows. They are canceling the exclusivity deal. That's not a bad thing either. It's okay to have multiple platforms for your product. I feel like that means you're going to get more eyeballs on it. Again, if AEW lands on Fox, more people will watch that, I believe, than what are watching on TBS. Not every household in the United States has cable anymore. And if I want to watch TBS, I have to either subscribe to YouTube TV or DirecTV or some sort of cable package in order to get it. Whereas if I just have an antenna that's an HD frequency antenna, I can watch Fox. I can watch CW. I don't need any special equipment for that. I mean, I need the antenna, but I don't need to have a package that I pay for weekly for that. They're showcasing past NXT issues. Yeah. Episodes, not issues. Issues are for magazines. AEW's for the sickos. TK says so. CM Punk was fired by AEW. He didn't leave. Cancer Punk is the only talent to have been fired from AEW. Is he the only talent to be fired? I only see them showing hype videos for NXT, not CW, not seeing full episodes here. Paladin says Chavo. Chavo says, yeah, look, man. Chavo loved the guy, right? Chavo lost his cousin brother, his uncle brother, and Eddie Guerrero. He doesn't want to talk about losing Benoit too. All right, you guys all are on top of this, and I need to get to the show, so I'm going to skip ahead on some of your comments, and I apologize. I do like to talk about all of this, but there's so much that I've been talking for 51 minutes and we haven't really addressed tonight's episode, only in passing. So let's talk about it real quick. Of course, this is the NWA, and the NWA, first of all, can we sing happy birthday to Trevor Murdoch? And a 1 and a 2 and a not gonna happen. Trevor Murdoch, Captain Badass, happy birthday to you, but I'm not singing to you. You're not nearly as pretty as some of the other talents. We have a singles match with Carson Drake. Carson Drake, who I liked him better when we called him Jordan Clearwater. There, I said it. I'm not a big fan of Carson Drake. I don't know. I see potential. I don't think he's anywhere near hitting that potential. I think he's a long, long way from that. Back to Carson Drake. Brian Idol hasn't moved the needle for me. I hear some of you guys joke around. Oh, he's the needle mover. Yeah, well, he doesn't do anything for me. This is the match that I would consider the bathroom break match. Yeah, I would get up and go to the bathroom during this match because I don't really care about either one of these guys at all. Like, not even a little bit. This match is such a bore to me. But let's talk about a match that won't be a bore to me. The Page sisters, Kylie and Kenzie, your women's world champion, taking on the It Girls, Ella Envy and Samantha Starr. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, that matchup, had we seen this before the 76th anniversary show, then we might understand why the It Girls are getting an opportunity for the women's tag team titles. And that only makes sense, too, is if they win this match. I have not watched Power yet. This is my pre-show. Some of you, this is your post-show. So if Kylie and Kenzie win this match, what is it calling it? The street fight, then maybe they should be challenging for the titles at 76, not the It Girls. So sad to say, like, I'm assuming, hopefully there's spoilers there and that the It Girls win, but I don't know. Big fan of Ella Envy. Always appreciate seeing her in the ring. Kylie Page is probably the best talent, unrealized potential in the NWA currently. Kenzie Page walks so the rest of the women's division can run. I can't say enough good things about the three of the four ladies in this one. Samantha Starr, I want to see more from her. I need to see more from her. I haven't been impressed. Sure, she's easy on the eyes, and that's cool, but I want to see her succeed. I want to see the NWA women's division succeed. So hopefully we get a good match out of them. The national championship is on the line when Tom Latimer defends against Steve Boz. Steve Boz was at the 76, and I swore I thought it was a different wrestler, and I even told people it was a different wrestler, and it was not. This one should be good. Steve Boz is an excellent talent. Again, you're seeing him show up a little bit more. He's been spending some time with NWA Chicago. He teamed with Mario Pardua at the 76th anniversary show. I think the more we see Steve Boz, the better he gets. And I think this is an excellent match to showcase Steve Boz, but also to give Tom Latimer a good victory leading up to the 76, where he will eventually challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. Lastly, this is the match that I'm most excited about because my pal Jeremiah Plunkett is back on Power, and I'm so excited to say that. JP is one of those guys. Number one, dude made me feel like 100 years old at last year's anniversary show. No, maybe his last year's Crockett. The last time I saw Jeremiah Plunkett, he told me we were eating dinner together, and he said to me, he says, "Oh yeah, man, I used to visit your message board when I was in high school." Thanks, JP. Thanks for making me feel like ancient history. But with that being said, this is such a perfect match that represents the NWA territory system. Again, Dante Casanova was the odds-on favorite to win the NWA Exodus Pro Midwest Championship. Top draw, top dog for Exodus Pro. Also in that match, Hunter Drake, one of the top stars of Kross Fire, has been eyeing opportunities with Kross Fire, really making a name for himself there. Mario Pardua, the heart and soul of NWA Chicago. I mean, maybe I'm overstating that, but has been a big part of NWA Chicago, has been on Power before, teaming in the past with Jeremiah Plunkett. And of course, JP representing Joe Cazana Promotions. Love JP. Can't say enough good things about him. This one, I mean, look, the results are already out there. It's not a big surprise who wins this one. The right guy won as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait to watch the match. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully all four of these guys get a really good showing. And hopefully this isn't the last time we see all four of these guys. Now, like I said earlier, knowing what I know from the 76, Mario Pardua will be there. The rest of these gentlemen won't be. Hopefully that changes as we get closer to the NWA in New York, the Riot Fest, and of course, Samhain 2, which is in late October. So that's your episode of Power. I'm going to get back to your comments, and we'll wrap the show up here. But I'm excited, man. I do, for everything negative that I've said about the NWA in terms of their taping schedule, I really feel like the product is starting to get better. And maybe it's because I've got these rose-tinted glasses on because I had such a fun time at 76. I think you guys are going to enjoy the results of 76. I think you're going to enjoy the wrestling there. But I really feel like this is just a good time for the NWA. If they could figure out this taping schedule to make it make sense for everybody, I feel like we'd be in a better place. Of course, whoever becomes the Mid-American champion, hopefully we'll see that person, keep the tradition alive of being a territory champion. In the old days, we had the national championship and the North American championship as belts that really represented the territories. When you had the world's heavyweight champion, be it Adam Pearce, be it Rob Conway, be it Jack Stane, be it Tim Storm, that title was meant to travel the globe. The national title was meant to travel the nation. The North American title was meant to represent this continent, right? And so a Mid-American title, representing Exodus Pro, representing Joe Cazana Promotions, Kross Fire, and NWA Chicago. I mean, it's a perfectly apt name for the belt. And if it survives those areas, that'll be great. And of course, if you didn't see my write-up for the show, check it out. We did talk about it a little bit. But the NWA, this episode, this title, that Mid-American Championship in the past was a very important title for the NWA, and it did represent, the Tennessee area. That title would eventually be merged. The Lineal Championship was merged with the AWA International Heavyweight Championship and the AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship to create the CWA Heavyweight Championship, non-related to the NWA. And that title, again, went inactive like in 88. The title was reactivated again in 2001 as part of Mike Porter's Main Event Wrestling. That title was defended all throughout the NWA, but at that point it was specifically like a main event championship. The title became inactive in 2012 for a second time. So this title was part of the legacy of the old territory days, and then also had time under the Pro Wrestling Organization NWA. That's the post ECW, post TNA Wrestling NWA. And as the last reigning champion, who was forced to vacate the title before it was declared inactive, was Nick Iggy. If you guys remember Nick Iggy, longtime NWA wrestler from that area in Tennessee, he and his partner Kerry Awful still wrestle for NWA Kross Fire and promotions that have been adjacent to the NWA as the Carnies. So it's kind of cool, maybe down the road we'll see Nick Iggy get another shot at the Mid-American Championship. But it's really cool. I like to see that the history and the tradition of the NWA is still being married to the past, the present, the future, and hopefully we'll see more and more. All right, now let me get to some more of your comments before we call it a day. I do love talking about the NWA with you guys, so I did want to keep going. Willie Bowen says Young Sheldon stinks like a skunk. I like Young Sheldon. I probably liked it more than the Big Bang Theory. So good to see a variety for all wrestling fans. Absolutely. It's not oversaturation as fans are tribal. We don't go around watching everything. We stick with our brands. It's simply more selection. Paladin, there are some people who watch everything. I think it's more rare to find people who are more tribalistic. I know when I was growing up as a wrestling fan, I would watch anything. I grew up here in Southern California. I was too young for the NWA in Los Angeles. The LaBelles had already sold the territory. AWA would come in every now and then, but even then that was limited. WCW, NWA did not come out this way until later. And then, of course, we had McMahon WWE programming. So I'd watch USA, I think it was WWE All-American and WWE Superstars. And I'd watch that every Saturday and Sunday. And when it was Monday, Saturday night's main event on NBC, I'd watch that. If it was Glow Wrestling on our local KCOP TV channel, I'd watch that. I'd watch all the wrestling that I could. I'd watch Telemundo and watch Lucha Libre AAA. I would watch everything. We'd watch Dallas. We'd watch Global Wrestling on ESPN. We'd watch ESPN Classics to see AWA. We would watch the Monday Night Wars and everything I could watch wrestling related. And I still do that to some extent. Obviously, being a dad and a business owner and a husband, I have other priorities these days. I can't watch as much wrestling as I would like to. But if I was a single dude and I didn't have responsibilities outside of my 9-to-5, I would watch Raw. I'd watch SmackDown. I'd watch NXT. I would watch TNA Wrestling. Then I would watch AEW. I don't know that I could watch every episode, but I would definitely watch some of it. Paladin doesn't watch anything for WWE. Let's see. When will Natalia Markova call her shot to cash in the Burke Invitational? I would say it looks at Kill in December because it takes place in Dalton, Alabama. Noob, I agree with you. I mean, her face is literally on the poster. It's named after the tag team that her and Bridal Idol have. I think that's the perfect opportunity for her to cash in. And if she were to win the title, I think that'd be a great moment for her as well. So I'm going to say it's going to be Dalton, Alabama as well. Jake, I agree with you about Fox. SmackDown is also about to find that out. The ratings will drop on SmackDown. Yeah. Maybe I should say Punk is the only talent to get fired by both WWE and AEW. That's fair. That's fair. Drake looks like a fine woman. What? That looks like a fine woman to you? Paladin, you need to I don't know. I don't have anything terribly clever to say. Jay, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. Yeah, man. No, Tennessee's great. I've been to Nashville a handful of times. I've been to Knoxville once. I even went to a little town, and I can't remember what it was called, but that's where they did all the nuclear stuff during the World War. Tennessee's great. Love Tennessee. I'd like to go visit. I would love to go out there for a weekend where I can catch Memphis one day and maybe like Joe Cazana Promotions the next, or Kross Fire, something like that. That would be a lot of fun. The heat wave sucks. I'm glad I have air conditioning. There's a fire literally like less than 10 miles away from my house. The air quality sucks right now. My Chevy Colorado looks like it's gray because there's so much ash on it. I'm not excited about the fires. Did Vince McMahon invent pro wrestling? You're catching on. You watch Tyrus. I mean, I did watch Tyrus. I watched him lose the 10 pounds of gold. Hey-o! I would watch all but NWA Georgia. World Championship Wrestling was my favorite with Gordon Soley. Yeah, man, Gordon Soley. Rest in peace. I hate WWE so much. Paladin, you are a tribal guy. That's all right, man. I still like you. You can be a tribalistic. I'm good with that. Willie Bone was a Mid-Atlantic guy. Wrestling God says no WWE for me either. Dodie says if Natalya doesn't win any titles, we riot. Maybe a Riot Fest. Maybe, I don't know. They have to crown a women's television champion. I don't know that you need Markova for that, right? Because at this point, Markova's got her shot at the Burke. So maybe just wait until she cashes in. But, she would have made a great women's television champion. I wish that's how they would have taken the belt off of Max instead of the way that they did. Instead of surrendering the title and just saying, okay, I'm challenging for the title for Kenzie, I would have liked for her to lose the belt, and Markova would have made a great television champion. The other Drake. I don't know what you're talking about, Paladin. Now I'm so confused. WWE's diarrhea. I got effed up on Broadway. Yeah, Broadway will do that to you, man. We for the 70th anniversary show, your boy Jay came out here, met a lot of good people, and a guy named Adam Rotella. Adam Rotella and I were the only ones talking about the NWA at that point. And Rotella didn't turn out to be such a great dude, but he did introduce me to a lot of cool people that I still call friends today. And in the spirit of his meet and drink, we did our Alliance Wrestling Summit. We've had 3 of them, 2 in the last year, 1 this year. We had 1 at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators event in Glassboro, New Jersey, back in, I believe it was March of 2023. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to meet, I've already had met Dave Scooby, but I got to meet Tim Alliance Gold in person. I got to meet Mrs. Alliance Gold, Raluca, in person. And from there, we did the 75th anniversary show in St. Louis, where I got to meet Fuzz. I got to meet Dave Scooby was there. I got to meet Retro. Tim and his wife were there. I got to meet What Would Luthez Do? And I've known Lou for a very long time from the message boards. So it was kind of cool to finally put a face to a name. And then, of course, just a few weeks ago, we were in Philadelphia, where I got to see Retro again, got to see Luthez again, got to hang out with Jaden and Dave Scooby, and no Tim, unfortunately, but did get to meet Big Chris Dog. And that was really cool, and got to meet Rick Del Santo from his show, which I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. Oh man, sorry, Rick. It's not personal. My brain just sucks sometimes. Rick does a great job with his interviews and stuff too. Yeah, I don't know how I got there. Sorry, guys, rambled. It's cooler today. Should be getting cooler. Yeah, I hear the temperatures are going to be heading towards the 80s, which, man, we need that. There was another Drake in a singles match that looked like a woman. Oh, Carson Drake? All right. I could see it. I see it a little bit. Carson Drake, my dude, that guy you said was better as Jordan Clearwater. They the same guy? No. Double D, that's my inside joke because I feel like Carson Drake has assumed the personality and role of Jordan Clearwater since JC has left the building, per se. No, I just feel like he's like a poor man's Jordan Clearwater. Wait till Jordan Clearwater comes back. He's going to be amazing if he ever comes back. Thanks for the like, Bobby. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dave Scooby, the PWZ Pro. I think it stands for Pro Wrestling Zone. My guy, Rick Del Santos, super cool dude. Very much appreciate him. If Natalya can't win the women's world title, then what's the point? I don't know, man. We still need to have good talent in the NWA, whether she is champion or not. And why do I still have that graphic up? We still need to have good talent. And if they don't put the belt on her, at least we have good talent. I see you got the King of Hardcore in your collection, Terry Funk. Yeah. So I've been adding to this slowly but surely. You know, we've got Nick Aldis is right here. We got AJ Styles, the King, Handsome Harley, Terry Funk. Back here we got Ken Shamrock. These are all still in the boxes. I haven't bothered to take them out. If you look up here, we got the Raven. I think that was the I want to say that was a WWE figure. You've got Dan the Beast Severin, again, another WWE figure. AWA Remco, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Up here, we've got the one and only Silas Mason Thrillbilly action figure made by Remco back in 1983. Recently bought this Christian action figure at our friends over at the Vintage Suplex Media. Of course, I got my own action figure. I know you guys will love that one. Picked up this Raven at the store, the Vintage Suplex Wrestling Vintage. This Blue Demon I got off of eBay, but you could literally get those at almost every Lucha show in TJ. Got a Sabu from the Pint Size All-Star Wrestling. And I have more, but I don't know where they're all at right now. And yeah, Funk did that plastic bag spot first. I know. Up here we got the Dubby. Hell yeah, man. That Dubby. That's what's keeping me going today. Because like I said, I was at the gym and I was there hard. And this Dubby, it's keeping me alive, brother. Funkasaurus. Tyrus is right here. Double D. What is it? I saw Wrestling God said, why you do Terry Gordy like that? Brother, that is Silas Mason. I don't know what you're talking about. That is every bit Silas Mason. You cannot tell me otherwise. The only thing he's missing is a vape pen and some sunglasses. You know it's cocaine and coffee. I'll take it. I'm not here to judge. Ella Envy is so great in the ring. Ella Envy is a very special wrestler, man. I mean, what I like so much about Ella Envy is, besides her being attractive, she's a great looking woman, sure. But the way she emotes in the ring, when you watch her sell, she does the little things. It makes her an entertaining wrestler. The other person who I really feel understands this more than most is a guy named Tyler Bateman out of Southern California. I think he lives in Vegas now. Used to be from Oklahoma. When you watch that guy wrestle, every little thing he does looks legit. He socks somebody, and then he winces in pain because he hit the dude so hard that he hurt his fist. Not a lot of people sell like that. Oh, by the way, Hayabusa, one of my favorites too. See, I like hardcore wrestling when it's mixed with lucha libre and high-flying style of wrestling. Paladin says, bet your kids are jealous of your toys. They don't really give a shit about my toys, to be quite honest with you. They're the ones that got me the Alliance Bear. And that blue demon I got at a Lucha Libre show as well. It's probably, never mind. I don't say what it's stuffed with. I knew you'd like that one, Double D. I don't have a Bruiser Brody action figure. Some of those figures get really expensive, and I try to stick to guys that have held the 10 pounds of gold. Some of these, obviously, you know, Kevin Owens never held it, but so many people say I look like him. I thought it'd be funny to have it. And, of course, Roddy Piper never held the 10 pounds of gold, but I got him too. Do you still drink coffee and or soda or just W? Double D, I drink everything. I still drink canned energy drinks, especially when I'm looking for convenience. When I'm home, I drink W. I like to have W before the podcast because it helps me stay focused. A lot of times when I'm on energy drinks, I'm bouncing off the walls. I feel like W gives me the energy with keeping me like narrow focus. And I'm not saying that to get you guys to buy it. I'm honestly giving you my testimonial about W. If I'm going to the gym, I'm not going to drink W. I'm going to go drink C4 with that special factor in it that makes your body tingle when you're working out. But when I'm at home and I'm doing a podcast or I'm doing stuff for work and I need to focus on what I'm working on, W, I feel is the best energy for me for that. Coffee is so low in caffeine for me these days. I don't even really get up for coffee. And the same thing with soda. I don't even feel the caffeine in soda anymore. If it doesn't have over 100 grams of caffeine, I don't even know I'm drinking it. So that's my thing there. Bobby, this shirt is available in the merch shop. We have more merchandise coming. I think what it's going to happen is I'm going to take a lot of stuff down that isn't selling. And we'll just keep the stuff up there that's popular. So check it out. Yes, this shirt, this hat, the new hats are up with the just the black logo on a red hat. You could also get the red hat with a black brim. Paladin, 1 cup of black coffee for the whole day. My friend, I need more energy than that. I need more caffeine than that. And the crazy thing is, and I'll wrap the show up here in just a minute. I am a guy who cycles through, and I will be on loads of caffeine for a couple of weeks, and then I will stop. And it'll be cold turkey, and I'll have headaches for a few days, and then done. And then something big will come up, and I'll need caffeine again. A Paladin doesn't have kids. Yeah, well, the kids aren't even it, man. It's just, it's everything. This isn't the Jake How Bitch at My Life show, but, look, I run a business. You guys might not know this. I actually own my own business. And it's mostly a 9-to-5 job, but sometimes I need to have more energy than just a regular sitting at a desk typing type job. I'm up on my feet a lot. I'm back and forth between my office and equipment. It's a long day. And then being a husband and being a dad, and these are like not jobs, and I'm not complaining. I'm blessed. I'm grateful for my wife and kids. I have a beautiful wife, gorgeous. She's smoking hot. And I got these 3 wonderful kids. The one of them's 20, so she's a grown ass adult now, but the other 2 are, 9 and 11. And it's fun, man. I'm so lucky. My life is great. I get to talk wrestling with a bunch of my friends every single week. And, I spend 3 hours a day talking about pro wrestling. How great is that? How awesome is that? And my job affords me the opportunity to do that. I'm very grateful. You're not hearing me complain about nothing, but I do need caffeine to get through the day. I'm not going to lie there. I like water and soda and tea. Bobby, you know what my favorite thing to drink right now, besides the W, is I love that strawberry cream Diet Dr. Pepper. It's like dessert, man. I love it so much, and I drink it all the time. It's awesome. Let's see. I've had 2 coffees today, and I'm drinking a Powerade. That's water. I like to drink a lot of water too. Paladin, look, man, like I said, here you go. It's a nice little picture of my family there. I don't know if you guys could see that. Like, that's me going a little bit fatter. That's like last year. Like, that's my wife. Those are my kids. And although it's kind of blurry, like, I'm happy, man. I have a beautiful wife. I have wonderful kids. Life isn't always perfect. And I'm not trying to get too preachy here, but life is also what you make it to. You know, I've been very blessed in life. I'm very grateful for the things that I've gone through, and I think all of our experiences lead us to this point in our life. You know, good, bad, ugly, pretty, whatever it is, everything that's ever happened to you brought you to this point where you're hanging out on a YouTube channel with your boy J Cal, talking about the NWA, talking about wrestling. And for us to be here in this moment, it's kind of beautiful, you know, because you could be anywhere else in the world right now. And Paladin, I think you live in California, but we've never met, and we probably will never meet unless like you go to an event that I'm at, right? But here we are conversing. That's so cool. And it's crazy because DKM and Jaden and Luthez and Big Chris Dog and myself, and I don't think and Sean Mega, we all were talking on the old NWA message board. That's where we met in 2007, 2006, 2005, maybe even 2004, 20 years ago. And it's through this live stream podcast, because we used to be just a podcast. You can only hear us on Blog Talk Radio and then other formats later. You know, the only way you get to interact was on the live show or on the message board. And now here I am. You guys see what I look like. You see what my house looks like. I'm telling you about my family. I just showed you a picture of my wife and kids. You know, like, this is crazy. And we're all buddies now. We're all friends. And a couple weeks ago, I was literally in Philadelphia in the city of brotherly love. And I drove to Gladsboro, New Jersey to pick up my friend Jaden, who I've only met one other time before. And we hung out all day with Luthez and with Sam Retro and Dave Scooby and later Rick Del Santo and Big Chris Dog. And we hung out at a wrestling store. That's so crazy to me. And yeah, so I'm grateful, man. I'm lucky. I'm happy. You guys should all be happy and lucky too. If you're not, I hope you find what makes you happy, because life is so precious, and we're all lucky to have it. Looks like a cute, loving family, brother. Yeah, Double D. Nothing in life is perfect, but we make it work. We had Double D, like, we had such a good time in Philly, and I don't know when it's going to happen again. Probably next year, maybe the Crockett Cup, maybe the anniversary show next year. I don't see myself flying out for another wrestling show again. It's just, it's very expensive. Plus, my wife has other plans for us. We're going to Curacao this year. Look it up if you don't know where Curacao is. That's my next adventure. Whoa, what were message boards like? Double D, man, you're killing me, bro. Double D's the little brother I never had. Message boards were kind of like texting, except for it was a group chat, and you had to go to one website to look at it instead of it going directly to your phone. In fact, back then, you didn't go to your phone for messaging. You could only get on the internet with a computer. And there was no such thing as YouTube. If you wanted to watch a wrestling video, you had to record a wrestling show and then send it to a weirdo, some strange dude on the internet that you met on a message board, and then he'd send you a video once he got your tape, and you were just hoping and praying that the tracking and the tape was still intact and that the videotape wasn't broken. That's what message boards were. Maybe 2026 for you, sir. Thank you, Wrestling God. You know what, man, this is it's fun for me, and I'm not going to lie. I treat the Alliance blog like a second business. It's not my only business, but I treat it like a business. But I have so much fun. And and hopefully he won't rip you off. Yeah. Tell us how the world was before the internet, Grandpa. Who said that they remember? Oh, yeah, it was you, Paladin. I remember dial-up. Dial-up was wild. Your phone would start screaming at you, and next thing you know, you're on AOL. You've got mail. All right. That's it, guys. We went way over today, but I had a blast talking to y'all. I'll be back on Thursday. We might have a special guest join us on Thursday who is a champion. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give out any more than that. Oh, Paladin, you're like my age. You know, then you get it. I mean, you're not my age, but you're close enough. You're close enough. Thanks, guys. Thanks to everyone for being here. Again, I can't stress enough. Tuesdays, Thursdays, so much fun for me personally, professionally. Get to talk to you guys, and we have a blast. We'll be here on Thursday. Like I said, might have a special guest. Might not, but might have a special guest. In the meantime, do you like the show? Great. All I ask that you do is leave a comment after the video, gives us a thumbs up, whatever you want to do. Help us spread the word, help this channel grow. We've seen great growth in the last year, and I want to keep going. It'd be so cool to hang up a YouTube plaque somewhere here. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but that would be great if we could. Secondly, if you want to financially support the show, best way to do it, get yourself a hat, get yourself a t-shirt, be part of the alliance. There's not overly gaudy advertising on these things. It's just, the Alliance Wrestling. I try not to make it over the top with, QR codes, and although I'm thinking about doing that. But we keep it mostly fun. And if you want to help support the site, that's the best way to do it. Also, if you are looking for more energy and are tired of, buying cans or, maybe coffee's not doing it enough for you, W. I highly recommend it. Okay, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Good night. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.